HMP Wandsworth prison officer charged with misconduct in a public office. That's what I'm talking about in this episode, and the reason being is because of this video that's all over, or it went viral since it's happened. And this prison officer, the female screw, who is Linda D'Souza, 31-year-old Brazilian, and as you can imagine, it's all over the news. It's in every newspaper. And I think everyone watching this video now will already know the story, and will probably, if you haven't seen the video, which has gone viral, you'll have seen clippings or you'll have seen photographic stills of this certain officer inside of a prisoner's cell committing lewd acts, if you may say. You get me drift. But I'm going to give you a little rundown, give you my own personal opinion on it, and give you a bit of an insight into the story and what I've actually seen myself. Because everyone always has their own opinions, jumps to their own conclusions, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the research that I've done into it and tell you a couple of things from a prisoner's point of view and a public's point of view, what people out here will be thinking about it. So, Linda D'Souza has been charged and she's up in court today for misconduct in a public office. I'm not sure what sentence that carries. Obviously, it'll carry a prison sentence. But for me, I don't think she'll get sent to prison. I think she'll get a suspended sentence. Obviously, she's going to be going guilty eventually. She'll probably drag it out a bit, get a bit more publicity. But the video actually shows her inside of a prisoner's cell in HMP Wandsworth. And from my understanding, this prisoner has actually got a girlfriend on the outside, which isn't going to be a very nice situation for her, shall we say. And the other prisoner, I'm not sure of the names of these prisoners, but the other prisoner who was recording it, and what looked like he was smoking a spliff at the same time, or smoking a rollie, who was videoing it. I'm not sure where his remarks were, which I've read up on when he was doing the video, is we are making history tonight, or today, in HMP Wandsworth. Now, it's definitely made history, or made publicity, because this is now worldwide. So I've had a look at some of the media outlets in America, in a couple of different places. Obviously, because she's from Brazil originally, it's went all over the place. The video is viral worldwide. Now, the more I've looked into this, because at first, when I first seen it, I was actually talking about it to my wife, and I was saying, this can't be inside of a real prison. I thought the video was actually made in one of those old prisons where they do the prison documentaries where you can actually go inside. I'm forgetting the name of the prison. It's like an old prison museum now. You can actually tour the prison. So I was actually thinking, because I thought to myself, there's no way she would be so stupid to put her face on the video and let them video her like that, an acting prison officer on a acting role in prison. But when I've dug into it, it all makes sense. Linda D'Souza has got a boyfriend, or husband, sorry. She's actually married, she's got a husband. But when I've looked into it, her and her husband have got an OnlyFans account. Her and her husband was on a Channel 4 documentary last year talking about threesomes and orgies. It was called Channel 4 Open House, The Great Sex Experiment, where couples pushed the boundaries. These two were on this program. They've got an OnlyFans account together. Doesn't take a genius to figure out what they've actually done. They've come up with this plan where which it's actually worked for them. They've come up with this publicity plan. If they get this video made, or she goes in, does what she's doing with a prisoner, she will go viral. Her OnlyFans account will be going through the roof. She'll probably make millions of it. She'll know she'll not go to prison, or if she does, it'll be for a very short period, because it's not a massive, what you would call, jailable offence. It's something where indecency in a public office, misconduct, in a public office is just a sackable offence. Sacked, suspended sentence. She's then got all this publicity. The reporters, probably, she'll be on Lad Bible before long. All these, and a lot of them will be, a lot of seedy underground media outlets will be dying to get her on for an interview. She'll be on, wouldn't be surprised if she'll be on the James English podcast in about a year's time, talking about this. She's going to be raking it in. She'll be making a fortune from this. She's gone viral. Like I've mentioned about our OnlyFans account, all them ones that are into that sort of thing, it'll be all over it. And the only person that is going to reap the rewards of this is Linda, the screw, the female screw, for doing what she's done. The lad, now I'm going to talk from a prisoner's point of view, the lad that's done this act with her, apparently when I've looked into it a bit, he's got a girlfriend, so she's going to be suffering. The prisoner is going to be suffering in the long run. He's not going to gain anything financially out of this. He will be straight in the segregation unit. He'll be shipped straight out, as well as his padmate. The wing would have been on lockdown looking for the mobile phone. They'll be getting shipped out. They'll be getting put down as high risk, and I don't mean category A high risk, but I mean they'll be classed as high risk. And I'm not sure what sentence he was doing. I think one of them was just on remand. I'm not sure which one. So I can't go into too much. Obviously, it'll come to light a lot more in the press in the coming days about who these lads actually are. But he'll be getting shipped out. He'll be sick of his life because he probably had it cushy. He's probably had a good time in Wandsworth from a prisoner's point of view. If he's in there, he's got all these amenities. He's got all these illicit items. And he'll have been living luxury inside of prison. Now he's going to be, like I've mentioned, he'll be moved, he'll be put on high risk. They'll be keeping an eye on him to see what he's up to. So he's going to be suffering. His girlfriend, if it is a serious girlfriend that he's been with, she's going to be suffering. And if he was in love with the lass, he's going to be suffering, knowing that he's made her suffer. And I did hear something, or seen something, where apparently she was up in the prison gates, banging on the gates, demanding to get in. Obviously, she wouldn't get in. But this is what I've heard. I'm not sure how true that is. But like I say, it'll come to light more in the coming days. So he's going to be suffering. Even though doing that sort of thing when you're in prison, if you were a single lad in prison, you didn't have a girlfriend on the outside, you were doing a fixed sentence, a normal sentence, and you were doing stuff like this with a female screw in prison, you'll be known as King of the Wing. Everyone will be walking around giving you a high five, knowing what you've been doing inside of prison, and everyone will be happy for him. They'll be buzzing, all the other prisoners, high five on the way past, you're the man, you're the boy, you've been doing this with, obviously, with the screw. So you'll have a short-lived experience like that, short-lived celebrity moment inside of prison. But like I say, he'll suffer for it in the long run. And if this is, and obviously this is just my opinion, if this is the way that I think it is, where Linda and her husband have done this for publicity to boost their social media accounts and obviously to get paid interviews and later dates and become viral in that underground world, then they've used the prisoner for this. And obviously you can imagine how he's going to be feeling afterwards, thinking that he's being used, even though a lad's mentality will be like, thinking, well, how can he have been used? He's had his underwear in prison. He's the boy, or he's actually being used if this is how it is playing out. And he's the one that's going to suffer while they're going to gain financially in the long run. But HMP Wandsworth has come under scrutiny quite a lot lately. It was only about 8 or 9 months ago when I'd done a video on Daniel Khalif, who was a supposed terrorist. They had him down as a terrorist. But when I'd done the video on it, I wouldn't class him as a terrorist. But he is classed in prison as a terrorist. He actually escaped from prison underneath a paddy wagon, a prison van. Or was it? No, sorry, it was the food van. When they came into the prison to deliver the food, he had his chef's uniform on, and he actually got out on the underneath of the vehicle. That's how he escaped from the prison. So that was when Wandsworth was in the press a lot because of that, because of the inmate escaping. But Wandsworth, when I've looked into it, you can see the pictures all over social media. And the press has seen it's a rat-infested shithole, which most of them old Victorian prisons are, by the way. And at the minute, the prison is on its knees. Staff shortages, prisoner capacity is at an all-time high. They're going to be letting prisoners out early because the prison system is in crisis. Like I say, there's a shortage of staff and it's overrun with inmates. There's too many of them to look after, so they're getting put into conditions that are inhumane. And they're living in rat-infested shitholes as it's been described in the press. But Wandsworth is overcrowded, it's understaffed, and it's getting bad publicity. So you can imagine the clampdowns that's going to be going on inside the prison from the governors, because the governors won't be wanting this type of publicity. The governors won't be wanting this all over the press. The governors won't be wanting their staff doing that type of behaviour. But like I've mentioned, it's happening up and down the country in every prison in the country. But the amount of prison staff that have been getting, or have been in the past few years, have been sacked or been charged with misconduct for this type of behaviour. And not only that, obviously bringing illicit substances into the prison, but the prison staff at the minute, a lot of them are young staff that have just come in that aren't being trained properly, and they're being taken advantage of, or they're taking advantage of the situation and doing things for the inmates that they shouldn't be doing just to get a bit of extra money. But that's what is going on in the prison system now. If you think prisoners are going to go into prison to get rehabilitated, at the minute, with the state of the prison system, there'll not be a lot of people rehabilitated in prison, because the way that they try, or they want you to be rehabilitated in prison, is by doing courses. But there's a big backlog of them, and prisoners aren't, in my opinion, being rehabilitated. The only rehabilitation is if the prisoner wants to rehabilitate himself or herself and they really want to change, then they will change whilst in prison. But again, overcrowded conditions like this and the situations that's going on inside the prisons, like when I've done a video on HMP Park, when there was, I think it was 6 deaths in a matter of weeks, all down to illicit substances that have managed to get their way into the prison system. And there's a lot of people going into prison that have never used drugs before. And there's that much drugs in prison that are coming out with drug problems, which in anybody's eyes is a massive, massive problem. But getting back to the prison officer, she will be getting dealt with quite soon, I'd imagine. Obviously, she can't deny the offence because it's on video. So it should just be a straightforward case of pleading guilty, going to court. I mean, it could just stay at magistrate, but because of the high publicity surrounding the case, it might get sent to Crown Court and it'll be dealt with there. But I bet me money it'll just be a suspended sentence and she's going to toddle off and make her fortunes on the OnlyFans. But I just thought I would bring that to the attention because a lot of me subscribers have been asking us to do a video on this. But obviously I wanted to get a lot more information before I just jumped on the bandwagon like everybody does and come to some assumption that isn't correct. So I've done a lot of research into it. I've seen a lot of different newspaper articles. Everything I've mentioned is in the public domain for people to see. So if you want to go and have a look at yourself and see what you think and leave your thoughts in the comments, because everyone is entitled to their own freedom of speech, and you can all say whatever you want in the comments section and let us know your thoughts on this situation. But again, hope you enjoyed that bit of content, people. If you are, go down, double click, because believe it or not, a staggering 90% of my viewers are still not subscribed to my channel, and I've got nearly 70,000 subscribers at the minute. So can you imagine how many subscribers I would have if everyone subscribed to my channel? So how are people? Get down, double check that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, hit the button, leave a comment and hit the like button. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.